Well, welcome back to the Raider roster report, Raider fans. Very exciting, one day away from Christmas, right? We got the draft coming up in a day, and hopefully McDaniels and Ziegler knock it out of the park for the Raiders. I just wanted to go over some predictions early in the first round of what I think is a possibility to happen. Also wanted to get my final mock draft of the year and kind of go from there, kind of be on record, I guess, as a YouTuber of what I think we should do. Obviously, yesterday I put out a video of the top 50 prospects I think I would like the Raiders to draft. It sounds like a lot, but with 12 draft picks, it's only like four players to pick, and I gave about 25 different UDFA players that I really like. Obviously followed the process pretty closely here over the last few months, and there's some really great players, really excited about a lot of them. So I just wanted to kind of highlight those that I really watched the most and liked the most and would fit best for the Raiders. But before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the video today. Definitely want to hear your comments, players that you're liking and that type of thing. But anyways, 49 days ago, I did a video about best fits that I felt best teams to draft the top 6 quarterbacks. And so I wanted to kind of revisit that a little bit first because it'll kind of lead into the mock draft for the Raiders and what I think might happen or what could happen for the Raiders, I should say. And so anyways, 49 days ago I did it and I talked about how Will Levis, who I thought the best fit for him would be the Panthers. And I'm going to stand by that. I think Will Levis might be the first pick of the draft with the Panthers. It makes the most sense. I know Bryce Young is the consensus one to go number 1, and he might, right? But I think Will Levis has a really good chance to do it. So if you want to go back to and check my video, and for all the reasons I gave a bunch of them as to why the Panthers would be the best fit for him. Please go take a look at that. And then the Houston Texans, I said the best fit was Bryce Young, and I stand by that too. So Bryce Young could definitely go number 2 overall to the Houston Texans. Again, I gave many reasons why I thought that was the best fit. So, of course, then it goes to the Arizona Cardinals, and they're in a great spot to trade. But, you know, if they don't trade, I think Tyree Wilson's the pick there. I just think he's too good of an edge rusher. That's something that they really could use. So then it goes to pick 4, the Colts. I said in that video 49 days ago that the best option for Anthony Richardson was the Colts. And I stand by that as well. I think he definitely could go number 4 overall. And so if you want to check out the video from 49 days ago, please do. Gave a bunch of reasons why I think that might happen. And so that leaves the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to run up and put the card in for Jalen Carter immediately. Then you fall to, then you go to Detroit. And here's what gets interesting for the Raiders. I think they take Witherspoon. I don't think they pass him up. I'll get to a scenario where I think it could happen. But yeah, I see him going there. If that does happen, I think it's going to trigger a trade for the Raiders, a trade down. And in the video, I talked about landing spots for CJ Stroud. And I said the Jets would be the best because they were picking 13. And they were looking for, a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I gave a bunch of reasons why the Jets were the best fit. But I think a new one emerges. And I think that new one is the Tennessee Titans. I think they could go from 11 up to 7 very easily. Obviously, there's a relationship there with McDaniels and Vrabel from the Patriot days, so I think it's a likely trade scenario. And so I've got the Tennessee Titans trading up to the Las Vegas Raiders, pick 7, CJ Stroud. And that kind of goes into the Falcons. So they're sitting there, and they're going to be like, wow, we have Will Anderson. So they're going to go ahead and take Will Anderson there. And then the Bears, Parrish Johnson just makes a lot of sense. They need a left tackle. And so I think he's the one they would probably look for. I know they like long, athletic tackles, and so there you go. And then number 10, the Eagles. I mean, why would you not take Bijan if you're the Eagles? You don't have a lot of holes. You don't have a running back. So why wouldn't you just get the best one there? And you have another first-round pick, so that makes too much sense. And then, so that leaves me at pick 11, and I think the pick at 11 for the Raiders is Peter Skoronski of Northwestern. So that's kind of how I see that playing out. The other player I talked about, too, in the video about the quarterbacks 49 days ago was Hendon Hooker, and I talked about a great fit for him would be the Buccaneers. And so another trade possibility, I think, is the Buccaneers trading either above the Commanders or definitely trade up a few spots because they're going to want to stay ahead of the Vikings because I see the Vikings in play for Hendon Hooker as well because of Kirk Cousins. But I just think the Buccaneers are a great landing spot. You know, Sam Darnold's not the long-term answer. I don't think Trask is either. So you go ahead and get Hendon Hooker, let him take the time he needs to get ready. I think it's a great fit. So it's another scenario that could definitely happen. And so that leads me into the mock draft for the Raiders. And of course, this is a trade down scenario because Witherspoon went off the board. And so I got Peter Skoronski going 1. And then I've got Quan Martin going 2. Just probably the best safety in the draft from Illinois. Yeah, we missed out on Spoon, but we'll get a very versatile player. So there's that. And then Trenton Simpson from Clemson. He's a linebacker we've all been looking for. He fills so many needs for us. I've wanted the Raiders to get a true Mike, an edge, you know, somebody that could play all over the place in this draft. You only have so many picks. Fortunately, Trenton Simpson can do it all. He's a bigger linebacker like I've wanted. He's fast. He's only 21 or 22. And so I know Diane Henley, I really like him, but he's 24. So if I have to pick between the two, I'll get the bigger, more athletic, more upside guy because he's younger. He just needs playing time, but he can do so many things. And then I'll compliment him later in the draft here. You'll see that in a second. But so I have Trenton Simpson, then I have DJ Turner, our shutdown corner on the outside. So our secondary's got a whole lot better with Quan Martin and DJ Turner. And then Tucker Kraft, I think, is a no-brainer for the Raiders. I mean, I highlighted him in the 50 video the other day about being similar to Gronk, you know. So he has that sort of potential. And then I have Zach Harrison as well. He's longer, more athletic than Chandler Jones. He just didn't have the college stats in his career, but he's only 21 years old. And Ohio State, I didn't like the way they used him. They had him wide, but they had him in a 3-point stance, sometimes in a 4-point stance. You stand that guy up, let him use his length because he's slow. He's a slow 1-10 split. Because he's tall, he's long, right? So use him like Tyree Wilson, let him stand up, use that big first step stride to get to the quarterback, and you got a player there. So that's a guy I really like. Trey Palmer, the receiver out of Nebraska, had a breakout year. He was at LSU, he came to Nebraska, he broke out, big time. I know he does a lot in the slot, but he's 6'1", a 4.33 speed. Play him at the Y or flip-flopping with Meyer. Let them go slot outside, vice versa, but just let him stretch the field. And if that doesn't work out, who cares? Because he's a great return man as well with 4.33 speed. So you got a hell of a player there. I think Trey Palmer would be a great fit for the Raiders. And then Rezjohn Wright. I think we are in the market for a long, tall cornerback. I know Julius Brents, Corey Trice, Mekhi Garner. I highlighted all those guys in the last video. But Rezjohn Wright out of Oregon State has all of those things off all the measurables, and he runs a 4.35. I don't know his agility. He didn't do it, or at least I didn't see if he did it. But he's the type of player that I think the Raiders are looking for. So again, add him to our secondary, and it gets a whole heck of a lot better. We can match him up against the Mike Williams of the world, the tight ends, those types of things. And sorry, I look at my notes. But then I have Brodric Martin, the nose tackle. He's going to cause problems in the league from Western Kentucky because he's a little bit unusual for a nose tackle. He's 6'5", which usually they're a little shorter than that, the kind of bowling ball types. But he's got super long arms, usually they're shorter arms, right? But he's got like an 85 or 86-inch wingspan, like 35-inch arms. So he's going to be a problem for guards and centers in this league. So I really like picking him up. And then finally, Charlie Jones. So I think, yeah, I have 10 players being drafted because I think we're going to move up and down the board. So yeah, I have Charlie Jones from Georgia Tech. He's a safety linebacker combination, which I think we're looking for. He would be great at strong safety for us. He'd be great at dime linebacker for us. He would allow Trenton Simpson to do other things like rush off the edge. Oh, you know what? Sorry, Ventrell Miller was the other guy I have too. So he's kind of the Mike linebacker. So if you think about it, so we have a true Mike. Ventrell Miller from Florida is very underrated. I have him being drafted by us as well, which I think would be a great pick because he could play Mike. He's a leader. If you watch him play, that defense responds to him. He's a true leader. So getting him in the middle, getting Trenton Simpson to do Trenton Simpson type things, let him go off the edge, let him play Sam, let him guard, let him do all kinds of crazy shit on the field. And then you have a guy like Charlie Thomas to play that strong safety role, big hitter role, hit 103 tackles last year, made big plays all game long. He's a guy you turn on the film, you know where he's at, even though he's only 216 pounds. He's a small linebacker, a dime linebacker. So that would just give us all kinds of flexibility. Our linebacker room gets a whole hell of a lot better. So I fixed the secondary, the linebacker room, did a little bit on the defensive line. got, yeah, so those are all good things. I think Clayton Tune will be another one to draft. I did a video as well. Depending on how many picks we get. So that would be 12 if I added Clayton Tune, but I don't know if we're going to have that many picks. But I did a video on other guys like Tanner McGee and Aiden O'Connell from Purdue for the Raiders. But I left out Clayton Tune. I shouldn't have. I think if he's the late round pick for us, if we don't go early with a quarterback, I think he's a likely scenario just because, I mean, he's athletic, he runs, he ran for about 600 yards last year. He's accurate, he's like a 68, 69% accuracy. He's good with the ball, 40 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And so he pretty much is he's 6'3", 215, so he's got the good size. He can add a little weight, but I mean, that would be sort of kind of the direction I would go for the late round quarterback. And so that's my mock draft for the Raiders with the trade down scenario. It all pretty much stays the same. If let's say at number 6, Detroit says, you know what, I can get my cornerback later. I'm going to make the deal with the Titans. They're going to come up and get Stroud and Spoon sitting there at 7 for us. So we take Spoon, I think. And then we look for offensive line. I want DeJuan Jones, but I think he's going to end up going in the first round. So the next one would be Matt Bergeron from Syracuse, another guard tackle that we can get. I think he's the guy. And obviously DJ Turner kind of gets left off the mark. But everything else for me would stay the same. I have confidence we move around the board and pick that type of thing. But those are the players I think the Raiders should draft, hope they draft, would really vastly improve our team. Those are the guys I like. I do have Spoon over Gonzalez. We'll see what happens there. Obviously Gonzalez will be fine. We went that route. So UDFA guys I really like, just to highlight again. Kaleb Hayes out of BYU, the cornerback. Great measurables. Jacob Slade, out of Michigan State, D tackle, has all the measurables we'd want. Was hurt last year, had a very productive year the year before at Michigan State. Jeremiah Martin, the edge out of Washington, really like him. He has a stand-up edge rush, it's really good, real strong. He can set the edge for us, so that'd be a good one to get. Guard center, Jovaughn Gwyn or Jon Gaines would be another one. Both those guys I really like. Jovaughn Gwyn's out of South Carolina, and Jon Gaines is out of UCLA. Jordan Mims would be the third-round back out of Fresno State that I really like. Derek Parrish, a fullback, edge rusher out of Houston, super athletic guy I really like. Van Sumerson, out of Michigan State. Really like him as a linebacker. He led the Shrine Bowl in tackles. Awesome pro day too, very athletic. And then Ryan Greenhagen, a traditional middle linebacker out of Fordham. He had year before against Nebraska, had 31 tackles. So let's get some of that, Raider fans. So, anyways, check out my videos. 49 days ago, I did the one about the quarterback fits. I stand by a lot of what I said on that video. We'll see if it comes out tomorrow. Definitely looking forward to the draft. And then check out my video too. The 50 players the Raiders are likely to draft, or 50 players that I would like them to draft, and 25 UDFA guys. I'm going to be keeping my scorecard to see how I do as far as percentage goes, see how many guys we get off of that list. I know it's 75 players. Sounds like a lot. It's not. If you do it yourself, you'll find that you leave a lot of guys off that you really wanted them to add. And I think that's my entire list of guys. Hope you enjoyed the draft. Hope you enjoyed the draft. Hope you enjoyed my mock draft. Let me know what you think. Please share your comments with me. Like, share, subscribe to the video if you haven't already done so. And again, I'll come back after the draft. We'll see how we do. Please, McDaniel, Ziegler, don't F this one up for us. We need this draft big time to get us into the future. So anyways, that's all I got, Raider fans. Raider Sparks, I'm out. Have a great night.